So I've just been on a road trip to pick up some random Apple stuff, and some other random Apple stuff came in the post. So let's have a quick look at all of this, see what it is, see if it's working. So what have we got? We have got a MacBook Pro by the looks of it. Yeah. So yep, so I got a 15-inch MacBook Pro. Bit grubby, even a bit mouldy. I think that's been stored somewhere relatively damp. It's got its battery. It's got a few dents and creases and some stickers, but overall it's actually not bad condition. All the screws seem to be present, so that's good. So that's laptop number one. This is what I was most excited about. Titanium PowerBook. Again, it's filthy, it's really dirty, dusty, but the hinges are intact. Screen seems okay. It's also got its battery. It's a very nasty sticker residue. Paint's flaking off the hinges as they used to, but the fronts, not bad. The paint on the fronts has remained, so that's nice. And then we've got a box full of stuff. Again, the box is very dusty. It's been stored in a loft or an attic or something. What have we got in here? Welcome to Jazz Drive. So you've got the iMega Jazz install floppies, which is nice. These are for Macintosh and those are for Windows. The Macintosh ones are open, the DOS ones aren't. Although interestingly, this is a French and a German version. Is the English version in there? I don't know. It's first bit of random stuff. Agfa-type collection for Macintosh version 6, disc 2 and disc 1. So that's presumably some True-type fonts, which is nice. And a Jazz cartridge, which is in there. There's some writing on the front. It says backups from September 2001, October 2003 and June 2006. Master state stored speed disk 752. I'm not sure what all that means. Is that speed disk was the software used to back this up? I'm not familiar with that. Don't know enough about Apple software really. But it is a Jazz cartridge. MacBook power supply. It's in reasonable condition actually. It's not, the cable isn't too frayed on the end here. It's a little bit bent out of shape as they often are, but otherwise looks okay. Half the label's missing. Right. Scuzzy cable by the looks of it. It's got high density there, and then this is a, oh, it's a converter. So we've got a high density, is that 49 pin? I can't remember the exact number of pins. So this is for early PowerBooks that had a high density SCSI connector on rather than the standard 25 or 50 pin. Let me get this adapter off this adapter. A little bit more. Still more. There you go. So that connects to the PowerBook with a high density connector. Then you've got your standard 25 pin external SCSI, and then this is a 25 to 50 pin adapter and a cable. Very nice. That was probably used to connect to some Jazz drive. What's this? Oh, okay. So we've got a Ethernet cable dongle, which is unusual. So these often get lost. This is going from a PCMCI credit card style Ethernet card to a standard RJ45 jack. That's nice to have. This is the Phaleron branded one. I don't know if the card's in here. It is. Excellent. Okay, so a nice Phaleron branded Ethernet card. So that's all good. Haven't got one of those. Here's a PowerBook 12x CD-ROM module. I'm not sure which PowerBook that's from. So it'll be interesting to have a look, see what else is in this box. This is model M3628. Can't see a date on it. It's got a copyright of 1997, but I don't see a manufacturing date. But yeah, CD-ROM drive. Don't know if it's working. Nice to have. BT phone splitter for when you had your ADSL or using a modem. Got another PowerBook. Oh, it's not a PowerBook. It's got a mini DIN on this end, so that's probably not for a normal PowerBook. And it's also a Lighton branded one, so this is probably a third part. Oh, it's for a Jazz. It's for a Jazz drive. So that's the power supply for a Jazz drive. Don't get hopes up, there's no Jazz drive in here. There's a dead fly in here. There's a power supply. It's trapped onto something else. Let's have a look at this. What have we got here? A PowerBook. Nice. Which one is it? It's a 1400 CS 166. Looks to be in pretty good condition actually. It's not too dirty and it's not overly worn from use, which might mean it's faulty. Side's looking good, front's looking good, side's looking good, back's looking good too, and there's that high density connector for the SCSI. Brilliant. So obviously this power supply we took out earlier powers this. We'll see if it's working in a minute. And then, so I'm laughing because the photos of the eBay auctions kind of showed this, but didn't really show it. Let's put this down. So there's another PowerBook here, but it's permanently attached to the power supply. So someone has taken away the input port, put on this cable with a nice grommet and hardwired it to the power supply. It's missing back cover panel, but the other thing about it is it's a bit Frankenstein, literally, because it's got these 4 bolts holding the screen housing together. So I'm guessing at some point this suffered from the failed hinge problem, and someone's answer is to literally bolt the 2 halves together, which is interesting. It's a bit like that Texas Instruments laptop that gone through hell we saw previously. I'll put a link up to that video here. That's interesting, isn't it? Which PowerBook is this? Oh my word, right. I don't actually recognise it. It hasn't got an identifier on it. It would have been on one of these 2 labels that's been taken off to put in the bolts that go through the screen housing. On this side it doesn't look too bad actually. So the bolts are where the rubbers would have been. So the bolts are where the rubbers would have been at the top of the screen, which doesn't look too out of place. And then these would have been hidden behind these plastic labels, which are missing. This is much dirtier, much dustier. That mouse button is rather loose. Interesting. We'll see if we can get this to turn on. The side's not too bad. Front looks okay. Other side's not too bad. And so the back's missing its cover. So is this a 530 or something? Let's have a look underneath. Macintosh PowerBook 5300 series. Bottom looks fine, interestingly. Oh, I think we should start trying some of these out. see if this works. So what have we got? We've got PCMCI cards on here. There's a little lever here that extends the feet at the back. Presume there's one on the other side, yeah. And there's a floppy drive. Looks like there's something missing from here. Not sure what that'd be. Get free hair. Lovely. And then there's some kind of release here. Is this for the battery? It is. Okay, well the battery's not corroded, which is nice. And neither is the inside. So I don't know very much about this this particular range of early PowerBook. It's PowerPC though. Let me just check one thing before I start. Has this got an ADB port on the back? It has. Okay, so if the mouse doesn't work, we can at least plug in an external mouse. Well, shall we plug this monster in? Okay, nearly missed the end of the chime there, so it's chimed. I plugged it in and it just went straight into the power mode. Where's the power button on this? Oh, it's up there. I can hear a hard drive spinning. I can still hear a hard drive spinning. But what's conspicuous by its absence is any form of screen display. Oh, it's just come on now. It's really, really dim. Don't know how much you can see. A little play with the brightness. And contrast. The contrast has made a bit of a difference. Adjusting the brightness had no effect at all. Okay, actually it's starting to look reasonable. So it's a colour display, but the colour is very washed out, and when I move the mouse it submarines, so presumably this is a DTSN non-active matrix screen. There's quite a lot of flicker on the camera as well, which isn't present in real life. That's probably fixable. My fingers feel dirty after using the trackpad. What are we going to get? Are we going to get anything? And even if we get anything, are we going to be able to select it with this rather dodgy? It feels like it does click. It does work, okay. It's just really, really loose. It may be possible to rebuild that. What have we got? We've got a Mac HD. We've got about this Mac. So we've got System 752, PowerBook 5300. It's got 8 megs of RAM, most of which is being used by the system. Okay, interesting. What else is on here? Someone's been using Suitcase on here. That's a font manager, isn't it? Excel, Freehand, Photoshop and Quark Express. So somebody was using this for design work, I think, at some point. Okay, well, that's interesting, and it works, and the screen is awful from my angle, but I think it's slightly better from head on. So it's a 527 megabyte, so half a gig hard drive. It says it's on an ATA bus. I was assuming it was going to be SCSI. According to the Wikipedia page, it's one of the worst Apple products ever, which coincidentally was one of the last videos I uploaded. Have a quick look up here for that. So it's got 8 megs of RAM, half gig hard drive, so this is probably the PowerBook 5300, the base model. So it's got 640 by 480 passive matrix screen, 8 megs of RAM, and 100 megahertz processor. So you have it, the first PowerBook with a PowerPC processor. In this case, a bit of a Frankenstein, both because of the lid modification and also that power modification. And the catch doesn't clip over. I just picked it up and literally the hinge cover has popped off. This didn't come through the post. I collected this, so I know it's been transported well. So that's a bit of a shame. That was obviously going to happen, but we can potentially glue that back. So this is the 1400 CS. So this one's got a proper power supply that isn't hardwired to the system. Let's plug it in and see what happens. Have a chime. That's reassuring. I can't hear a hard drive spinning up, which is less reassuring. Oh, there we go. Again, the screen is very dim, but the backlight is very old, so that may improve as time goes by. It looks like this might have macOS 8 on it. Taking a little while to warm up, but the screen is getting a little bit brighter. And again, being a CS, it's got the passive matrix screen rather than the active matrix, so the mouse cursor submarines when you move it around. What have we got though? We've got a higher resolution screen. This click is a bit temperamental. So yeah, I've got macOS 8.0, 48 megs of RAM, which I think is more than the standard. I keep losing the mouse. And this button's a little bit dodgy. Let's see what System Profiler says. So yeah, version 8.0 for the operating system, PowerPC 3 603 EV at 167 megahertz. What I'm trying to do is find out what size hard drive we have. So it's a 1.3 gigabyte on an ATA bus. Okay, which I think is the standard. The screen's pretty sharp actually, even though it's a passive matrix, it's actually quite sharp to look at. Okay, so basically what appears to be a fully working PowerBook 1400 CS with a 166 processor, passive screen, and a dodgy mouse button. And now also a broken hinge. So let's see what else we've got in the pile. I'm just looking at this actually. This has got the floppy disk drive in, but this is the module that's replaceable, isn't it? Let's turn it over. There we go. That's come out, and I'm guessing that's what that CD-ROM module was for. It does indeed fit in nicely. So cool. So we have a spare floppy disk or DVD module, depending on what our heart desires. Nice. I'll repair that hinge in a minute. So, titanium PowerBook, not a frequently found Apple laptop. I know a little bit about these, but not a lot. Certainly never owned one. I do have a power supply that works for it though. So, let's plug it in. Hinge works, catch works. And don't know if you can see that, but we've got a charge indicator. That's cool. So, let's turn it on. No chime, no hard drive spinning up. Oop, a very unpleasant hiss. Okay, so you get a hiss followed by 3 beeps and nothing else. So I think, from memory, 3 beeps is, it was very dirty, 3 beeps is a RAM issue. So it may be that we just need to put some RAM in it or change the RAM. What's in here? So from memory, you can open these up. Yes. Okay, well, it's got RAM in. So maybe it's just not happy with the RAM modules. So it's looking at the label, it's PC 133 RAM. I probably have got some of that we can use to swap things out. But I think that's probably a different video. Let's just have a quick look at the system. Now we've got it. The catch does work, which is nice. The paint across the front is starting to flake, but it's not too bad. The hinges look a bit grubby, as in a little bit rusty. And there's a bit of a dink here in the front. Slot loading optical drive. Nothing on the side to see apart from the hole for the Wi-Fi antenna. Around the back it's still got its flap, so here we go. Firewire, Ethernet, 2 USBs, not sure which version they are. It's got a DVI connector, so this must be one of the latter Titanium's. S-video out, not sure what that is. And then it's got a modem. It's obviously audio of some kind, probably audio in rather than audio out. That's cool. And then around the side here we've got headphone jack. And then I think that's a PCM CIA card slot and ejector, isn't it? And another aerial cutout. On the bottom you've got the battery. Let's take out the battery. So looking at the spec label, which is down here, it's a 1 GHz G4, 15.2 inches, 512 megs of RAM, 60 gig hard drive, super disk, and 56K modem with AirPorts. So this one has got the optional AirPort in, hopefully. Ah, there's a screw missing. Somebody's been in here, so it's possible it won't work even with a RAM change. It's missing a couple of feet off the front as well. Okay, yeah, so I think repairing that is a separate video. Running out of room. So here we have a 15-inch MacBook. I think it's a MacBook Pro. Yeah, MacBook Pro. Cool. So there's actually a little bit of mold here on the keyboard, so maybe this has been stored in a damp conditions, or maybe had a water spill. So I don't know if this one works. This one and the Titanium PowerBook came from the same place. They were sold as spares as not working. Let's find out. Power lights come on, and we've got an indicator, power charging indicator I should say. I just heard the drive and we've got a chime. Screen's lit up, it's a bit variable in the colour. As you can see, it's quite yellowy down in the bottom right and not too bad up in the top left. So the backlight's obviously on its way out, but it appears to be booting. Yeah. Okay, in fact, still got a username on there, so we will wipe that. But yeah, mouse seems to be working. Mouse button's working. Okay, but we can't explore that very much without knowing the password, and we don't need to know that. I'm sure this person needs to keep their secret. But nice, a 15-inch PowerBook that it appears to be working. Cool. Again, it needs cleaning up. That's a separate video. But there we go. We've got 4 PowerBooks of different ages. So we've got a 53 Frankenstein, 1400 base spec model, Titanium, a late Titanium that doesn't work, and an early MacBook Pro that does. I'm really happy to get this MacBook Pro, by the way, because it now means I've got the 12-inch, the 15-inch, and the 17-inch version of this chassis. This one's obviously not a PowerPC, this is an Intel one, but it's got the same keyboard and chassis as the previous generation. So it's nice to have all 3 of those. Very happy with that. It'll be interesting to see if the battery holds a charge as well. So, 4 random Apple laptops. Quite a nice collection, very reasonable price. Got lucky again. 3 out of 4 are working. One of them's working in a kind of Frankenstein kind of way. The Titanium PowerBook isn't working, unfortunately, and that's the one I was hoping would work for obvious reasons. But it did start to boot. I think it may be fixable, and the chassis is not too bad, which is mainly one of the issues with this particular laptop. So there you go. Hope the 4 that was interesting. Let me know which of those 4 you want to see me do a proper video on. my favourite is this one, but however, leave a comment down below, see which one we want to do first. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. YouTube's going to recommend some videos. Don't forget to look at those as well.